Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Mackailyn Johnson. Now at noon, new developments today in the LRPD investigation into the murder of 7-year-old Chloe Alexander. What we know in 2 minutes.
The job market remains strong, but there are signs hiring could slow in the coming months. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the results of a new jobs report.
Plus, Sunday is National Cancer Survivors Day. Just ahead, Astrid Martinez joins us with resources for more than nearly 17 million survivors in the U.S. But first, it's Friday. I want to know about the weather. Scott Covert, what's it going to look like this weekend?
You know what? We actually got a pretty decent weekend forecast. Now, today's been beautiful out there. We've had a lot of beautiful blue skies. A few clouds starting to make their way into the area. It feels pretty pleasant. We had that cold front. It moved through yesterday and it pushed that humidity off towards the south. Take a look at the numbers on the board. We're up to 78 in the capital city, 79 currently in Pine Bluff, middle 70s in Russellville and Clinton. The dew points, that's the measure of that humidity. They're in the negatives when you compare it to just the 24-hour period. That's good news. That means our air is becoming less humid as a result of that cold front. We love that, especially this time of year. Your forecast for today takes us to about 82 degrees. All in all, a really pleasant afternoon. Lower humidity, a nice refreshing breeze out of the north. We're going to actually see nice weather again tomorrow. You got to do a little bit of yard work. Today is a great day. Tomorrow is pretty nice as well. I'll tell you though, Sunday, we actually have a chance of rain and the humidity is going to be going back up. So of the 2 weekend days, tomorrow gets an A+. Get outside, enjoy it. It's going to be gorgeous and comfortable. Coming up, we'll take a look at Sunday's chance of rain as well as a preview of next week.
Thanks, Scott. The suspect in the killing of a 7-year-old girl is now in jail. Kenyatta Daniels Jr. is charged with capital murder in the shooting death of 7-year-old Chloe Alexander near the Little Rock Zoo on May 28th. That's last Saturday. Daniels, 18 years old himself, remains in custody this morning, awaiting his first court appearance. There will be a balloon release over in Pine Bluff later this evening. And this afternoon, the same Macintosh Stop the Violence organization held a Praying for Nonviolence and Peace vigil in honor of Chloe. Organizers placed a cross and wreath at the corner of Daisy Bates and Martin Luther King Drive in hopes of bringing closure for the families, friends, and community. They also placed crosses and wreaths for the 19 children and 2 adults killed in the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. As of this morning, 2 girls are now missing. They're right here on your screen. Little Rock police believe the kids are with their mom, who does not have custody. They're asking anyone with information to give them a call. And this afternoon, a Pine Bluff man is now in custody after being charged with firing a gun at police as they tried to confront him. Investigators tell us officers responded to a disturbance on West 20th Avenue this morning. There, they found Samuel Wilson Jr. According to the officers, he pointed a gun at them before they could get out of their patrol car and then ran away while allegedly firing a single shot. No one was hurt, and Wilson was tracked down quickly without the gun and arrested. New details are emerging about the motive for this week's massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It comes as we have learned more about the 4 people that were gunned down at that Tulsa medical office.
He came in with the intent to kill Dr. Phillips and anyone who got in his way.
Tulsa Police Chief Wendell Franklin says a letter found on the gunman who killed 4 people at a medical building Wednesday and then himself made it clear he targeted his own surgeon, Dr. Preston Phillips.
He blamed Dr. Phillips for the ongoing pain following the surgery.
The gunman killed Dr. Phillips, a Harvard Medical School graduate who regularly volunteered overseas. Dr. Stephanie Huson, a sports and internal medicine specialist. Receptionist Amanda Glynn, a mother of 2 boys. And clinic visitor William Love, an Army veteran who police say held a door shut so others could flee.
To the family of Mr. Love, I'm so sorry we couldn't save you. We are grieving with you.
Police say the shooter legally purchased both weapons used in the shooting, including an AR-15 style rifle similar to these. He bought a little more than an hour before the massacre.
These folks deserve better. Oklahoma deserves better.
Oklahoma State Representative Melissa Provenzano's district includes the medical building. She says even though police took immediate action, much more can be done to prevent similar shootings.
What are you calling for?
We need to take action ahead of something like this happening and put 24-hour waiting period, background checks, and get rid of the anti-red flag law. These things we could do now.
St. Francis is a hub in this community and employs more than 10,000 people. Understandably, many of those healthcare workers are shaken up that something like this could happen in a place of healing. Even so, they continue to show up and care for patients. Nancy Chen, CBS News, Tulsa.
Authorities in Texas say a prison escapee was shot dead by law enforcement overnight after he killed a family of 5 in their cabin. Gonzalo Lopez was serving a life sentence for murder when he escaped. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
After a 3-week manhunt, the search for convicted murderer Gonzalo Lopez ended Thursday night. Law enforcement found the prison escapee, but not in time to avoid a tragedy.
I begin tonight with some tragic news. 5 individuals were murdered in a residence not far from this location.
Officers found those 5 were a family killed inside their weekend cabin near Centerville, Texas. That's between Dallas and Houston. Police believe they had no connection to Lopez. The home was in the perimeter where authorities had been searching for Lopez since he escaped on May 12th. Officials say the cabin had been cleared multiple times, but at some point Lopez broke in after hiding in the woods.
There is some information for us to lead to believe that Gonzalo Lopez was the individual that broke into that residence and committed these murders.
The family has not been identified, but authorities say they were from Houston and arrived at their cabin Thursday morning. They say Lopez also stole the family's Chevy Silverado and was driving the vehicle last night when he was spotted more than 200 miles away south of San Antonio.
After a short chase and a crash, Gonzalo Lopez exited the Chevy Silverado with a firearm and engaged law enforcement officers who engaged back and ultimately killed Lopez.
Lopez had escaped from a prison bus after freeing himself from his restraints and attacking the driver. Police say the 46-year-old was a former member of the Mexican Mafia prison gang. In 2006, he was convicted of murder and had been sentenced to life in prison. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
The Labor Department released the latest job numbers this morning. The results are strong, but less than we've seen in recent months. Skylar Henry has the details from the White House.
Signing a letter of intent is usually reserved for athletes headed to college sports, but Jacob Bradley is taking his talents to the plumbing industry. The Kentucky high school grad recently signed on to work for a local company.
It was just more my style. I was never really want to be an accountant or sit down. I enjoy working with my hands a lot.
Overall, employers added 390,000 jobs in May, slightly better than economists expected, but it's also the first time in a year monthly job gains have fallen below 400,000. The unemployment rate stayed unchanged at 3.6%. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
We're seeing so much robust hiring, and it's probably good news for workers, too, that employers are continuing to actually bring more people online.
And there's still plenty of work available. The latest data from the Labor Department shows there are a near record 11.4 million job openings. President Biden says it's an indicator the economy remains strong.
That stability puts us in a strong position to tackle what is clearly a problem, inflation.
Ongoing inflation will likely impact the job market. The Federal Reserve is expected to keep driving up interest rates to ease price hikes, which will also slow down the economy.
This is actually consistent with an economy that is resetting. And this reset means that the number of jobs created every month is going to slowly go down.
Even with the drop, the overall job market is expected to remain strong in the coming months. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And now looking at where the nation stands on gun reform, President Biden asked how much carnage the nation is willing to accept as he called on Congress to reinstate an assault weapons ban and introduce new red flag gun laws. The president's televised address to the nation came after recent large-scale mass shootings in Texas, New York, and Oklahoma. Well, an exciting day in Northwest Arkansas as thousands of associates descend upon Fayetteville for this year's Walmart shareholders meeting. The 52nd annual event kicked off this morning at Bud Walton Arena and is being hosted by Late Late Show host James Corden. This is his second time serving as host and his first time back since 2022. Other stars like John Batiste and the Jonas Brothers also performed. The celebration continues throughout the day today. We'll have more on the events later tonight.